Hey there. Alright, we're gonna get started here in just a minute. How's the music volume and stuff? Hopefully it's not too loud. I am psyched. I'm excited about this. Alright, so today is different from a lot of the other streams that I've done. I'm going to be doing just some demos in Photoshop. Oh, I'll probably hear that twice. Some demos in Photoshop. A friend of mine asked me to do a couple of demos with some of her cosplay stuff, and I thought it'd be kind of a good way to just demo some basics in Photoshop and kind of show some cool techniques and some cool ways to play with the tool. So Photoshop isn't easy. It's really common. Like, a lot of people know how to use it, but it is verifiably very difficult to use. So I think with anything with Photoshop, my usual disclaimer is that don't expect it to be super easy. It does take some work, but it is really rewarding to get used to it. Once you figure out like a couple of techniques, you can kind of stick with that. It's just such a big application. There's a lot that you know, if you're trying to learn everything about Photoshop, that's not going to happen in any reasonable amount of time. Hey, Sophie. So, you know, if you want to focus on just like one particular kind of thing, it works out pretty well. So, so today we're going to be working on a couple different cosplay things. So, I think the other kind of disclaimer with it is that, like, I haven't really done any of these things yet. I'm kind of just going along with how I think I would approach the project, so it might not turn out perfect, but I'm hoping that you can at least learn a couple things. I can show you some of the tools and techniques and some of the thoughts behind the photo composites that I do. So welcome. I think this should be plenty fun, and let's go over to Photoshop land. Yeah, there we go. All right, so this photo is from a couple Halloweens ago. My wife and I dressed up as Maleficent and her crow helper. So whenever we do a costume thing, we usually drag out all the photo stuff, and I do a couple of different shots. This particular costume was pretty fast. You know, it was kind of fun to put together. There's a little bit of sewing that I did. I made like these feather pauldrons, and then I added these like cuffs to the this velvet jacket that I got. And then these are some actual leather pants that I have that are wonderful. So you can see in some of my other costumes, there's plenty of other uses of this exact wig, but the thing with these feathers, these are just like craft feathers that we got from I think Michael's or something. And we're still finding them today in the studio that I do some of the sewing in. So, so although these are really fun costume pieces, like, oh man, it's rough. I think one of them was just like loose feathers, and another one was like a feather boa. Yeah, they get everywhere. It's amazing. And so I might do some editing with this one. I kind of started just looking at some of the different techniques that I wanted to showcase, just like blending into a background, choosing the right photo. So we'll kind of go through what's in here in a little bit. The other thing that I was asked to demo was, Sophie, I just want to double check. It's all right that I use your photo as a demo today, that you shared with me of your Naruto cosplay. Kind of wait for that before I switch tabs, but okay, cool. Thank you so much. So we're going to be using this photo. I'll probably, you know, it can be kind of a bonus, like cropping out the TikTok watermark here and like cropping it a little bit different. So I think that's probably a good place to start. So this photo is just, it's a capture from a video, but I think it's going to work out just fine. So first couple of things that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the rectangular marquee tool. and that's right up here. So cool, yeah. So, and Sophie, do you have Photoshop? If not, you should totally get a demo. You can do like a 7-day demo and then just use fake email addresses or something like that to get different demos. Here's a pro tip. So for demos of things, this is a really good non-Photoshop related but sort of Photoshop related tip. So if you have like name@gmail.com, right? Let's say that's your email address. If you have this email address, you can get like say a Photoshop free trial from that. However, if it's a Gmail account, you can add a plus sign and then add a whatever you want there. So Adobe will see this as a different email address. They will see this as a different email address. However, this will still go to your Gmail address. So you could do that, and then likely, I wouldn't condone it because that's probably against the terms of service somewhere. You could probably do multiple trials for that. So that's a good hot tip for the day. So highly recommended. A lot of times people do that kind of thing. I'll actually see. I just pressed Control-Z. I don't have my other camera set up here for you to see my keyboard shortcuts like I do when I teach normally, but I just did Control or Command-Z to undo. A lot of people do this with like, you know, name plus LinkedIn or name plus I don't know, Kohl's or something, so that when those organizations who maybe aren't following the best practices for what they should do as a corporation sell your email address to another vendor, you'll be able to know who sold it. So if you ever get an email not from Kohl's, from your Kohl's address, then you know that who sold you out, and you'd be like, come on, guys, what the heck? What are you doing? So that's my Gmail spiel. Okay, back to Photoshop. So just a couple things with layout. I have this kind of popped out just so you can have I can have my video up here. But if we look at the window mode right here, and I don't know how tiny that is, but if you go to Window, Workspace, there's different workspaces here. And a lot of times when you're first getting into Photoshop, it's really easy to like, I could like, you know, I can like misplace my toolbars and I can like really screw up my layout so it's hard to find the tools that I need. You can always go up to Workspace, Reset, and that'll reset your workspace entirely so you can go back to what the defaults are in case you moved anything. And it can be really helpful. You know, I'm going to save this workspace right now so I can go back to it, but I'm going to go New Workspace and call this Grants Great Workspace. If I go to like, you know, once I have that saved, I can demo like, I'm going to delete my toolbar by accident, and I'm going to delete all this stuff by accident, and now I'm like, where the hell are my tools? How do I do anything in Photoshop? What the, oh my god. You can always go to Window, Workspace, and then reset your workspace, and everything will go back to how it was, which is really a nice thing to do. So cropping. So we're going to crop this out here. I'm just going to grab the rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to grab up on the top corner here, and I'm going to select just the area that we want. We could use the crop tool. This is just another way to do it. This is a little more old school, but I think it works fine. We're not going to ever want to recover that data of the phone screen and stuff, so I'm just going to go up to Image, Crop, and that gets rid of that. The next thing that I'm going to do is down on my Layers panel, I'm going to right-click on this background layer, and go to Convert to Smart Object. So, Smart Objects, this is definitely a Photoshop like 201 kind of a thing to think about. But a Smart Object is essentially like a little protective bubble we can put around our image so that whatever kind of editing that we do, we're not actually going to screw up our main design or our main, like our source image or anything like that. We're just changing the properties around it, like changing the metadata around how that image is doing stuff. And this just makes it a little bit safer so that if we screw up and we mess something up, we can always go back to before we mess it up. I'm going to go to Convert to Smart Object here, and I'm going to go to Magnifier here and just show you wherever the magnifier showed up. There we go. So see there's a little icon now on the image there in the thumbnail? And that's our Smart Object in play, doing smart object stuff. And so let's get rid of that TikTok thing. So we're going to be using a very common tool in any kind of photo editing. So this is super common for like retouching. So if you do any kind of like, you know, take any photos and want to edit them to look, I don't know, like if you want to get rid of pimples or hair or whatever, a tattoo or lint on your shirt, you're going to use the spot healing brush a lot. But I'm going to make sure to do any of the spot healing things on another layer. So I'm going to go to the plus sign. And down here, this plus sign in the bottom right corner, that's to create a new layer. So we have a new layer here, and let's double click on where it says layer 1, and we're going to name it Spot Healing. And then I'm going to go to the spot healing brush over here, keyboard shortcut of J, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to do that by holding the Alt key and zooming in. Scrolling my mouse wheel. I am going very fast. I'm sorry. I'm kind of like blazing through this. There is going to be a VOD if you want to review it later. That's cool. But let me know if you want me to cover anything again. So I'm going to grab my spot healing brush here, and I want to make sure that on the top here that we have this sample all layers thing checked. And what this is going to do is if I turn this off and I try to spot healing, there's nothing that's going to happen because there's nothing on this layer. It's completely empty. But if I go to sample all layers, it's going to sample all the visible layers and then put that into the spot healing layer. So we're just going to like magic this away. And it's like totally wild how fast the spot healing brush works. It's super, super easy. And if I look at just that layer by clicking on this little eyeball next to layer 0 to turn that one off, you'll see that the spot healing layer is just this little blurb here. There's this booger of stuff right there. That's all the spot healing layer. So that's cool. That's like totally like wicked fast, fun to do. I'll do another, I think, lesson on like retouching because it's super neat. So, should we figure out some lion hands? I think we should do some lion hands. I think that seems like a great idea. So I'm gonna open up Canva. And I'm gonna go to this here. And so this is a tool called Canva. So if you haven't done anything with Canva before, it is if you're like really, really new to graphic design and retouching stuff, Canva is awesome. It's gonna put like a lot of the really low level production design work that a lot of graphic designers have to do in a much more accessible place to like business owners and people who like want to start their own business or, you know, show off whatever, like show off cosplay stuff. But I have a premium account, so that means that I have all kinds of stock photos that I can use. So I found this stock photo of this terracotta lion. And I think it's looking just about in the right direction for lion hands. And so this is a pretty good place to start. I found some other ones that were all right. This one's super cool. I might try that one later. This one is a pretty strong contender along with this one because they're facing the right direction. So as we're looking at doing any kind of photo composite, it's really important to like look at like, okay, if the dragon or you got me saying dragon hands, if the lion hands are facing all the right direction or the same direction as your fists, then it's going to look a little bit cleaner. We're going to be doing a bunch of other like stuff to it to make it look, oh, that's okay. Much of other stuff to it to make it look more real, but we probably want something that's facing directly at the camera. Just based on the screenshot you shared with me from Naruto. So, but I really like these ones, so maybe we'll try this one first and see how it goes. And if it's not quite right, that's cool, we can redo it. So I'm just gonna, if you want to get stock photos from Canva, you can just like make a new file. I just did like a normal file and made it 4,000 by 3,000 pixels so that I can export images from the stock photos. But this is a really good deal for good premium stock photos. So I used to have an account with iStockPhoto for the work that I do, and I'm getting just as good as stock photos. It's a little bit harder to find the exact thing that I want, but it is perfectly good enough for my clients and that kind of thing. So once I have the image that I want, I'm going to go to download, file type PNG, page 3 only, and hit done and download. All right, that's downloading. So I'm gonna go to File. So then within Photoshop, there's a couple different ways to bring things into a file. What I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up the lion statue up separately, get it kind of all prepped and primed, and then bring it into this design. So I'm going to go to open this up, and we're going to hide all the rest of the stuff and really just focus on this front lion. I like how terracotta-y it looks. So we're going to cut this one out of the background. I'm going to first off turn this background layer into a smart object. That's a pretty good first step for most things. Then I'm going to go up to Select, and then click on Select and Mask. Four outfit changes. That's cool. That's okay. This is still a good demo for you to know enough for next time when you do want to do a more of a photo composite. You just do more still photos, and there's more to choose from. So this is the Select and Mask window. So by default, it's going to look like this. So this like checkered background here is called onion skin, and this is a silly name for anything, but I don't find that it's really the best for cutting things out. I like to maybe get started with it, but make sure when you're in the Select and Mask that you check out these other options, because this is going to make it a lot more clear how your things are cut out if they're cut out well. So the tool that you start off with is called the Quick Select tool. So that's this one up here with a little dotted line. And this one's kind of weird. You don't need to like draw around the edge perfectly. We could do that. We might want to do that if this doesn't work really well. But for this one, you kind of just like color in on the areas that you want to select, and it'll just make some assumptions based on the other colors around it. So I can kind of like, see, I'm just drawing just on here, and it's able to kind of make some pretty good choices as to what I actually want to select here. See, it didn't do a good job up there. So the onion skin makes it hard to see. So I'm going to go to Overlay. And so this is totally a fun game that you have to play when you're using this tool in Photoshop of like select too much, select not enough. Select too much, select not enough. And it's not as hard with this terracotta friend. Yeah, it's not so hard with this terracotta person. I have wicked curly hair, really hard to cut out with this tool. So once you've selected too much, like this background piece by the tail here and on the side, I'm going to hold the Alt key on my keyboard. And I'm going to color in what I don't want with the Alt key held. I'm coloring that in, and maybe I can get it selected right. You know, it's good enough because we're really going for the face, and we're going to do a lot of other stuff to it, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but there we go. So now they're cut out. I'm also going to check black and white and see if there's anything weird. Like up here, this is a little weird. I don't want that. Otherwise, this is pretty solid. I'm going to click OK. And once I have this selected, you see this little dotted line around here. That's referred to as marching ants. And that's the marching ant selection tool. I don't want to deal with marching ants. I want to actually have a mask. So to get a mask, I'm going to go down to the bottom right hand side, and there's this little square with a circle out the middle, kind of like a the dish where you have like a piece of toast and you cut a hole and put an egg in it. Kind of looks like that. You click on that, and it's going to mask out everything else in the photo that isn't what you had selected. So now we have our cool lion friend, and you know, really, probably not going to use much of the body of this guy. But we're going to mask that as well. I'm going to take a drink of coffee. Okay, so masks. So masks are tricky, but once you unlock their power, you will definitely be more powerful. So right here, this is the thumbnail in the layers panel, and this is the mask. So anything in a mask that is black is hidden from view. Anything that is white is visible. Anything that's gray is kind of in the middle there, you know, it's going to be somewhat transparent. And so I'm going to grab trusty old paintbrush here. Just a regular old paintbrush. I'm going to click on the mask itself here. I'm going to increase my brush size. I'm holding the Alt key right now, and I'm going to right click and drag to the right. Increase my brush size. And I'm going to kind of hide some of the rest of this body here. Now, you'll notice that it's not like a clean cut. And that is because of this stuff up here. I'm going really fast, I'm sorry. I'm trying to condense like a 6-hour class into an hour. So here we have opacity, another word for transparency. We also have flow. So opacity and flow kind of help us create more translucent and softer effects as we're doing things. So if I have my opacity set to 100, if I like erased a little bit of this, it's like way stronger. If I had opacity and flow at 100 and I click in here, it's like totally cutting out a big chunk. But that's kind of bad to do because you end up losing, you get more hard edges and it's not as such a smooth transition on things. So usually whenever I'm removing stuff through a mask, and I'm not doing it through the select and mask view, I want to do it through some softer brush strokes. Because then, you know, it's if you might screw up, but it just doesn't matter as much. I'm going to keep going smaller. So I held the Alt key, right clicked and dragged to the left. Kind of just getting around here. I really like his swirly mane. Really get in there. Yeah, it really works out. And you know what? If there's some like random feathered edge lion stuff on here, it's no big deal. It won't really affect much. So there we have our floating lion head. I think he's looking quite handsome. And if you're concerned about like, you're like, man, I'm not that steady with a mouse, then just set your opacity even lower and it just matters less then. And it's a lot easier to go forward with it. Let's see. Okay, so now we have this cut out. I think we can probably bring it into the design. I'm going to crop this again. Rectangular marquee. Image crop. And go to File, Save As. We're going to save this as a Photoshop document. Yeah, I guess you could see this. So this is a Photoshop. I'm going to change this to Photoshop. So Photoshop is right there. .psd. That's the default. That's the default like main Photoshop format. If you want to save all of your data on a design, save it as a PSD. Worth noting, the file sizes can get huge. I've had like 2 GB PSDs before. Whoops. But that's okay. I'm gonna hit save. Gonna maximize compatibility. Cool. All right, got our lion. Good to go. I'm gonna go back to this design. And we're going to bring in that lion design. Going to File, Place Embedded, and grab Terracotta Lion Head, and place that. Now, when this comes in, there's this big X through it. This is when you first place something, you're going to enter into what's called Free Transform mode. And so this is just for you to resize it a little bit. We don't have to get really too careful about the resizing. We can kind of put it, you know, like generally where we want. I'm going to leave it up here a little bit because I kind of want to change some of where he's looking. I'm just going to hit enter. That's going to commit it to the design. And I'm going to bring up, hang on one moment. I'm going to bring up our conversation so I can see what we're trying to accomplish. Sick. Okay. So, this is kind of what we're going for. We're going for big, scary lion hands. And so I think we can get pretty close here. So, here we have a terracotta lion head. I want to show you just some of the transform modes. I go transform, and there's a couple of these like distort and perspective ones. I'm just gonna see if we can accomplish. You know, I don't have high hopes with perspective, but maybe we can get it to like look a little bit more centered. So perspective it's kind of a little unpredictable as to how well it's going to work. I'm just trying to match this. I kind of like that. Match this a little bit more to how you're posed. I think I might flip it. You go to edit, transform, flip horizontal. We're gonna go back in time, right when I placed it. And we're gonna try just a flip horizontal right away. What do you think? Facing that direction? Facing left or right? I don't really know. I don't know what's better. Yeah, you can do some really cool stuff. And changing perspective like this isn't like, it's not the best. But I kind of like that. And it's kind of more the direction that you're looking, I think. I don't know. That's the kind of the problem with not using one that's facing like straight on, is that the perspective gets a little weird. Honestly, I'm just gonna duplicate it, and we're gonna see if we can just do both and then decide later. We can just decide later. What am I doing? We'll just decide later. Let's do the other stuff first. Okay, so you look down to the right, see that little icon? That is a smart object, which means we can't screw up our line very well, which is great. So first thing I want to show you is just on any layer, you can change the opacity or the fill on any kind of object to add some transparency. So you can see we can change that. We can also change the fill. I don't know what the difference is a whole lot. I should really know this, but it's never made sense to me. You also may see on some of the tutorials you may find some of these blending modes. Blending modes are challenging. But for a lot of this stuff, you just like, if you can find a tutorial that shows you how to do something, just do exactly what the tutorial tells you, and you'll be able to know more about various tools. Let's see, some of these are starting to look kind of cool. Like this one is getting there. Not the right color, but we'll change that soon. You can just see like what some of these do. There's some interesting effects that we can do that really like play with the background imaging. I mean, that's like almost done, but we'll keep playing. So we're just going to go to just normal, and we're going to do some modification of the colors. So when you're using smart objects, I like to use this layer adjustment tool down here. It looks like a little half filled in circle. I'm going to click on that, and we're going to go to hue saturation. So hue saturation is like one of my more common tools that I end up using. I'm going to see if I can hide this. Close tab group. Yeah, that seems better. So, and this is like a real easy thing to do. We can adjust the hue on stuff. Oh no, it's doing it to everything. Can't have that. I'll change my mind here in a second how to do that. I wonder if this, because it's smart object. I just gotta try something. Edit. No, it's layer style. No, that's under edit, that's right. Image adjustments, there we go. Now, if I change you, is that just that layer? Yeah, okay. Cool. Sorry, I just had to double check on something. So we're not going to do an adjustment layer yet. We're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation. And here I can shift all three channels, all RGB, to get it to be the right color. And so I'm kind of digging. You know, I'm going to pull this up here as my source image. You know, kind of like a cool blue. Yeah, that's good. We can also adjust things like saturation, which I think we can max that out, and lightness. We can change some of that. I'll click OK. And then I'm just going to go through these again and just see if there's one that makes a lot of sense. Like this is starting to seem kind of cool. Oops, wrong tool. So that's kind of a start, right? That's kind of a pretty decent go at it. Let's check some more of these and see how they do. So we can, so the blending modes, I'm just never like a huge fan of them because I sometimes like just setting it as transparency is sometimes better. It kind of just depends on how you want to go about a project, but I think that linear light is actually pretty good. Let me take another look at this source thing. Okay, so now we want, for sure we want really bright eyes. So we look at this, there's like little pins of light for eyes. Oopsies. There I go, showing my messy desktop. So pinpoints of eyes, that looks good. Let's make sure to add that. Let's do that by, I don't know, let's just do some like maybe a radial gradient. This is a gradient here, so it's hiding underneath the paint bucket tool. I'm going to set this as white. Let's see what that looks like. So opacity higher. We can also do some things with like lens flares, which might be kind of cool. There's a lens flare tool. Maybe lens flare is too much. Let's do something else. So we're just going to make a new layer, and we're gonna color in these eyes. That's white. Then I'm going to go up to, first gonna make this a smart object. Then I'm gonna go to layer, layer style, outer glow. Outer glow is like one of the first Photoshop things that I played with based on lightsaber tutorials. So a lot of tutorials on how to make a lightsaber in Photoshop use this. Starting to look kind of cool. Yeah. That's looking pretty intense. I'm gonna keep doing this until it's like extra. Yeah, cool. That looks intense. Okay. I'm gonna group these two. I just shift clicked on them and then I'm gonna click on the folder icon. This is going to be the lion punch? What is this called again? Lion punch? I haven't watched Naruto, I'm sorry. I've watched other animes, but I haven't done a lot of the like twin lion fists. Oh, do we need another one in the background? Oh god, I didn't even think about that. Oh, we gotta have another lion fist. Oh man, we gotta find a lion facing another direct. Is your fist pointing forward? Is it like another lion? Let's like. Is this the other lion fist, maybe? Like back here, but behind your head? Maybe. We'll see. We'll try it. We'll get this We'll get this first one done, and then we'll adventure into multiple lionfish. That group now. Faces forward even though she's punching away. Okay. This song is too slow. What other songs could we listen to? There's not a lot of like, I don't know if there's any electro swing. Nope. Happy EDM. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's do some Googling. I think we got some Googling we gotta do. So I'm gonna go to Tuts Plus. So Tuts Plus is a good place to go for Photoshop tutorials. At least it was more of a good place at one point, but then it was bought out by a big company and isn't as good. But we can still try and find something here. So we're just gonna look for, search Envato Tuts for Photoshop Fire. And we're gonna see if we can make a fire thing. Maybe flame? Flame is maybe a better word. Let's try it. Let's look at that fireball brush thing. Maybe that was okay. So this is my recommendation with a lot of stuff, is just like, you know, sometimes you gotta, oh, that looks sick. You gotta just, oh no, it wants me to actually make fireballs. Nah, dog. That ain't gonna happen tonight. But I like the general thought, because that looks badass. Yeah, cool. No, we're not gonna do that though. I'm gonna set off smoke alarms and other stuff. Okay. We're gonna do a Google search for Photoshop Flame Tutorial. That's not how you spell that. So a lot of the tutorials that you're going to end up finding are like how to create a brush, how to make a brush type thing, and they're not really the best. Seems okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say nah to all that. We're gonna go to Canva and we're gonna look for flame in their stock photos. And we're just gonna use one of these. It's gonna be great. So let's grab a couple here. I like this one. This is a pro one. I'm gonna add a page, bring it down here. Yeah. Yeah, no one has time to set up a complicated photo shoot for that. Let's get another one too. A good call for a lot of this kind of stuff is to like use multiples. Heck no, that's right. Just rotating this so it takes up space, and we're gonna use a couple of them because if we mix and match, it'll look even more real and more more unique. That's almost the right shape already, isn't it? So for all this photo composite stuff, so much of the work is just prep and like finding good source images. I think that's probably okay. I think I'm gonna do this one more here. That looks good. Download. We're gonna download those 4. Look at all that fire. Cool. Come on, download. Hey, Koodles, what up? We're just twin line fist creating. Yeah, so Canva has a free account type. It also has a paid account type. If you're doing work professionally, Canva Pro is totally worth it. It's a really good deal for what you get. It's not too spendy, and the premium photos that you get out of it are way worth it. We're just doing some photoshopping. It's great. Okay, so we have our image here. We've added our lion. Let's bring in some of these flame things and play around with them. So I'm going to go to Place Embedded. And we're going to find the folder that I just made. There it is. We're gonna place some fire. So hit enter as it goes in. File, place embedded. Click on it, place, enter. File, place embedded. Place. I have good feelings about this one. Enter, file, place embedded. And enter. Okay, so nice. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming and hanging out, Koodles. Appreciate it. So we're just going to go through these blending modes, and you can see where these blending modes are quite powerful because you can make it so only the lighter stuff shows up, such as the flames, right? So let me go through, and I kind of liked the look of linear dodge. Looked pretty cool. And we're going to call this fire. And what I'm going to do is, I have all this fire in one group here. So all the different layers are in the same group. I'm going to make some changes to this group instead of... yeah, we'll rotate them. So we can just like, boom, all rotated. But I'm going to affect all of them so we can change the colors. So... go to, I don't know if I can do that. Let's try it. Yeah, no, can't do them all at once, looks like. One at a time, that's okay. Adjustments, hue saturation. Make it blue. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. Hue saturation, go all the way to the left, changing it blue. Image adjustments, hue saturation. Change it blue. Image adjustments, hue saturation. How dare you? That's usually my policy during classes, is just, how dare you question me? No, I'm usually like, I don't know what I'm doing. You should probably look at tutorials, and don't believe anything I tell you unless you've also read it elsewhere, other places. No, it's totally good. So by you questioning that, that tells me you're already thinking further along in the process, which is an awesome thing. I did. I shaved last night. But I naturally can't grow a beard, so I get stubble. And then this is all of a mop of hair underneath my hat. So let's I want to get rid of some of these borders. We don't want these. So I'm going to hide all the other layers and just one at a time, I'm just going to crop these just to get rid of the white border that I have on some of them. To help me see it a little bit better, I'm actually going to make a layer on the very bottom of the stack that's just black. That allows me to see where that white border is. So using my paint bucket tool. There we go. Okay. Rectangular marquee. Grab that right there. And I'm gonna go to, instead of cropping, I'm actually going to just, yeah, I guess you'd probably just do this. It'd probably just be like, nope. Oh, smart object. Right. I can't just delete things. You see that warning that popped up? It was like, hey, you can't directly edit that because it's a smart object, which is what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to prevent me from making stupid mistakes. We're just going to mask it. Of course. That's what we're going to do. I forgot. So I'm going to click on the layer, click on the mask tool. Going to grab our paintbrush here. Now remember with masks, anything that is black is hidden on our mask. Anything that's white is visible. So I can just like max those out and boom, that's hidden. Do the same thing with this next one. Get rid of the extra. I could have probably avoided this problem, but I was kind of going a little fast and being a little lazy. So this is my punishment. I have to mask out these white borders. I could have done them on a transparent background in Canva, but I forgot to. Okay. All right. Oh man, this is gonna be cool. All right, so I want fire to be, might be above and below Twin Lion Fist, but let's start off with below. So that's going to make it behind the Twin Lion Fist. So let's start off just with one kind of fire. Having multiple fire files is also going to be really nice for the fist on the back, because we can put different flames on it to make it look more unique. So we're just gonna move this a little bit. I'm gonna you know, it has some hue saturation on it. I'm gonna see if I can get it to be a little more. There's like a little bit of haze on it. Maybe that's fine. We can mask some of that too. With this layer selected, I'm going to hold Control and press T, which is going to resize it. It's going to go into free transform mode. Let's make that a little bigger. That's looking pretty cool. Let's add another one. Here's our other flame. Control T to transform and kind of like position it a little bit better. And we're going to soften some of these edges too. Yeah, so this looks pretty cool. We're going to try and blend this in a little bit better. So I'm going to go back to my mask here, clicking on the mask thumbnail, grab my brush. We're going to change our opacity down to really low like we talked about. Change our flow down to really low. And hey, Chef Rex. How's it going, buddy? Do you have any more Mandalorian CNC projects going? I haven't heard anything about those for a while. I'm good, man. We're also going to change the hardness of the brush to 0%. That's gonna make it really, it's a soft and light brush. This is just, we're just feathering stuff in. So we're gonna feather into our mask we're just getting rid of the hard edges. Reference picture. Good point, Kudos. Yeah. That's what we're going for. We're going for something like that. I'll let you soak in that image while I take another drink of coffee. Okay. I wonder if I could like put this in OBS somehow so we can just have this up for everyone to see. Let's try it. We're gonna do it. All right, OBS, we're gonna add an image. It is from the anime known as Naruto. Yeah, we're gonna put this. Hopefully, it won't cover up too much. We're just gonna put it like there. So I think my opacity is a little too low, but we're softening up these edges. We're gonna make this so we can't tell really where anything starts or stops on this image, and that's gonna make everything blend in. I'm also going to kind of subtly clear up some of the flame that's covering up your face. I think this line is a little too stark, right? He's a little not transparent enough. So let's go to this guy, and let's work on the mask for him too. We're gonna actually lower the opacity entirely. I don't know. See, this is where some of the blending modes just like get to be problematic when you start to stack them. They get weird. So I don't like to use them quite as much. No. I have not seen any Naruto either. I think our fire is like too powerful. It's hiding too much of the lion image. That's normal. I can't decide, everyone. I like how the fire looks. I think I just need to somehow bring this up. So I'm just gonna duplicate this layer and see if we can, this whole group, and see if we can get kind of a good stack going. You know, maybe multiple blending modes of different opacities can maybe sell it. Source line heads are very flamey. We could make the flame go a little bit around your face though. So I'm gonna fire, we're gonna make it just bigger. That's starting to look pretty good. And I'm going to we're just doing some more, we're just doing some masking. So again, just painting masking around your face. I think that's starting to look pretty good compared to the source. I think that's kind of what we're going for. I think the eyes could be more intense. I didn't name my layers. I need to do that. Highlights. Play with this outer glow a little more. This is Sophie. Sophie's image she provided. Oh, that's why. It's too powerful. No, we have rights to all of these images that we're using. Let's play around with some outer glow. Yeah, let's do some outer glow in the line itself. Maybe some inner glow. I wonder how this is gonna work. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm like just a little bit making this up as I go. Quite a bit actually making this up as I go. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think, Sophie? Should we blur some of the lines on the lion itself? I think maybe the outsides should be blurrier. I think that could help. Okay, so I'm going to we're gonna get fancy here. We're gonna turn this twin lion's fist thing, all this into a smart object. So I'm selecting both these groups, converting to smart object. Oh, that didn't work at all. Let's see if we can. That actually looks great. I'm going to do some blurring. So now that they're a smart object together, I'm going to go to filter blur. We're going to do Gaussian blur. I don't know what that means, but that's too much blurring. Got to bring it back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm blurring the whole thing, but I'm going to mask out the sides so that only the sides are blurry and the face is going to be really clear. So we can essentially like feather in our blur effect. Oh, this is going to be sick. All right, ready? We're going to go to our brush tool again. So we have this white box. This is a mask on this adjustment. And we're just going to paint in some black onto, oh man, it's going to be so cool. Painting in black into the blurring to just bring in what we want. And I think that's it. There we go. I think that looks rad as hell. So, feeling good about it. So we're gonna go, just gonna get both of these groups. I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate both of these things. I'm gonna try. Yep, duplicate those. And we're going to move this up, make it smaller. And we're going to try and build it into this other side here. Transform, flip horizontal, lines facing the other direction. Let's update the fire. Let's find some different fire that we want to use. This music is doing a good job too. So I'm going to hide both these fires. And we're going to turn on the other two. So let me grab This one. And this one. I think we got to use one of these other ones too, a little bit, because they work so well. It was this guy that I liked. Let's get these other ones blended in first. So, do this one. Go to our mask. Paint in some black. Just especially around the edges, because it's still so visible. It looks like I have to hide some of the... I'm going to mask this too, and just get rid of some of these edges. Because there's some of these sharp edges that we can't see because it's closer in frame down there. So just want to get rid of any right angles. Okay, that looks better. And now this. Go like that. And let's turn on this next one. Again, I'm just using a black brush. It's just a regular brush, but I've made it really soft by changing the hardness as well as adjusting the opacity and flow. Still some hard edges on here. Let's keep getting rid of those. So patience is key here, because if you use too strong of a brush, you're going to like undo your work. So the trees in the background are too light. So I'm actually going to putz the background just a little bit. Ooh, you know what? I'm just gonna do this because I have black back there. Can't really see your hand though, so I think in either of these. So we might need to lighten them a little bit. So this is twin fist back, and this is twin fist front. Is that affecting both of them? Dang it, why is it doing that? I don't know, I think it's looking pretty solid. What do you think, Sophie? Is it covering up too much face, too much anything? Now, the source image, are his fists glowing? Hide the bottom edge and the back fist. Oh, there's a lot of front fist kind of in the way here. Oh! Right, thank you. Yeah, let's do that. I knew there was a step I was forgetting. So I'm going to... I don't want to do this. Let's do this... Come on, brain. You can do this, buddy. We're just gonna go. We're gonna do this very quick and dirty. Hardness to max. And I'm gonna try and set my brush size to the same shape as your head. This is not a clean way to do this, but that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So I'm just clicking a whole bunch. And then we're actually going to increase the opacity of this thing in general. I feel like he's like not getting enough love. Actually, that seems right. I don't know. I think we need to move it up a little bit. So this is where it gets tricky, because like this is where it's way better that I've done masks instead of deleting stuff, because I kind of like, I don't know if I care for that. Even with it hidden a little bit, I was gonna move it up a little bit. You can still see more of the like. I gotta do it. I gotta move it up a little bit. So I'm turning this back to white. Oops. That again. We're starting over just a little bit on just this piece. Going up a little bit higher. There. And then we're gonna do the thing we did. These tunes are really doing it for me. So we're gonna, that's a little too sharp for me. So we're gonna do that, but we're just gonna like ease it in a little bit more. Does the bottom one look alright? I think the top one needs a little bit of fixing. I think top one needs some different fire. Yeah, it needs that one too. Oh yeah, it's pretty fun. Needs a little more light blue. Oh yeah, you're right. Let's see if I can maybe move this down. Difference. How's that? Does that look alright? I think I'm pretty happy with that. Well, let's maybe try some more glowing. Oh, that's too much. kind of color picker is that? Yeah. This bottom one doesn't seem like it's like this is maybe too bright, but it looks pretty good and fiery. I don't know. Can't decide. That's the problem with these kinds of things, is you could just like waffle about stuff for ages. I'm gonna mess with some of the fire. Yeah, that's what this one needs. Okay. I think I like it. I think we're done. All right, now I'm gonna close it without saving, and we're good. No, just kidding. We're gonna save. So, Sophie, twin lion fist. Save that as a Photoshop file. And I'll send you the Photoshop file itself for you to play with. Oh, good idea, Koodles. We should do a before and after. So this is the before. This is from the TikTok video that that she did. So we hid the TikTok watermark, and then we added the twin fists. And I'm gonna go to save as. We're gonna save as a JPEG. Gonna be a little bit smaller file size and easier to deal with. So setting file size to maximum just so we don't lose anything, and then I'll share that with y'all. So I hope you had fun. That was 20 minutes longer than I was expecting, but I hope you learned a lot. I know it was kind of like drinking through a fire hose, but I think next time we do this, yeah, this is a lot of fun. Next time we do this, we'll do some editing of my cosplay I did for Maleficent. So so yeah, that's all I got. Kudos, I missed your stream today. I was like, dang it, again. But I watched a couple of your replays this week, and it was kind of fun to hang out, kind of. Like, oh, I'm gonna say this thing in chat. No, it didn't. You're not in chat, but you're on the other chat. It's fun. So, well, I hope everyone has a lovely rest of the day. Gonna be prepping for a camping trip that we're going on this week. So we're leaving on Friday. We're getting our COVID vaccine on Thursday. Not around on Sunday. Yeah, I'm getting my COVID shot on Thursday afternoon, and then we're going camping on Friday for 2 days, which might be rough apparently, based on the shots we're getting. So we'll see. And then yeah, we're gonna actually be staying with a friend up north until like next Thursday. So I'm pretty psyched. Gonna be a low internet diet, low working diet, which will be really nice. Yeah, that'll be fun with the COVID vaccine symptoms. But believe me, I will be there for the next anime club. I am psyched about that. I think that'll be really fun. So thank you so much for joining. Let me see who What's going on? I'm going to raid my dad's channel, where he's going to be playing some bassoon, most likely. Yeah, it's a little scary not having internet sometimes, but it should be all right. Yeah, I'll for sure have audiobooks and other things to. I have a bunch of laid back camp manga on my Kindle that I can read through. That's kind of like internet. We're gonna raid leading musicians, who is practicing music right now. Raid. I don't know how to do this from here. Let's try it. See if I did that right. I don't know if I did. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is yours. You do with this whatever you wish. See if that works. Yeah, I'll share it with you on Discord, and I can Photoshop you onto or into the moon. Koodles. All right, thanks everyone. We'll chat soon. Hang out with leading musicians a bit. He's practicing his classical music. Have a good night.
Sight reading it through, and I'll just leave it for now, and tomorrow or the next day when I come back to this, whenever I come back to this one, either tomorrow or the next day, I will analyze it more carefully and start working out the more difficult passages, especially this one up here. This is difficult. And maybe I'll just focus on those difficult passages and then play the rest through again. Oh my goodness, all kinds of people on the chat. I was not paying attention. Oh, it's a raid. Oh, cool as TV. Okay. Oh, a Grant raid. Oh, wow. Grant raided me. Oh, well, how about that? Thank you, Grant. Thanks. I really appreciate it. That's so fun. And Koodles TV dropping a follow to check back in later. May scout off for now, though. Oh, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. And Sophie Cakes, it says hello. And lots of good stuff. Wow, I appreciate that. That's so fun. Yeah. Well, thank you, Grant Makes. Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next thing. The next thing is what? That is the next thing. The next thing is. Let's see, how am I doing for time? Oh boy, I've got to finish up with the bassoon pretty soon so I can get onto the saxophone. Let's play through this Otzi one. It's spelled O-Z-I, but it's pronounced Otzi. Just like Mozart is spelled without a T, but you pronounce a T. Apparently, that's something that happens in German. So I did not play this one for my bassoon teacher, although I kind of worked on it a little bit, but I hadn't really played much lately, so she wants to hear it again. So let's go ahead and see what I can do with this. This one has some trills, which are interesting. And you can see it up here. It starts up here. You maybe can see some of that, maybe not. Here, I'll show you what it looks like real quick.